During every crisis, you have two sets of countries. One that makes a lot of noise. They condemn, they throw tantrums, but in reality, they get very little done. And two, countries that make a difference. They don't publish grand statements. Instead, they work to solve the crisis. India, we say, belongs to the second group. It is stepping up to plug the gaps created by the war in Ukraine. I'm talking about wheat supplies. Russia and Ukraine are the biggest exporters of wheat in the world. They make up 30% of total wheat sales. Since February, that trade has dropped. You see, most wheat shipments pass through the Black Sea. But right now, the Black Sea is a battleground. Russian warships are stationed there, so that supply is not reliable. What happens when 30% of any commodity supply disappears? Two things happen: shortages and inflation. And to prevent this, India has stepped in. Last month, India exported 1.4 million tons of wheat. And that's a record export for India, 1.4 million tons. And to put that number in perspective, in April last year, India exported just 240,000 tons. So 240,000 in 2021, 1.4 million in 2022. Reports say it could rise further, this number. More wheat crops could have been gathered last month. So the exports in May could touch 1.5 million tons. Where is this wheat heading? To all parts of the world, to South Asia, to Southeast Asia, Africa, Europe, West Asia. Basically, Indian wheat is averting a global food crisis. Some new buyers have also emerged, like Egypt and Turkey. Neither country has ever bought Indian wheat. Russia's war is changing that. Turkey has ordered 50,000 tons of wheat from India. For Indian farmers, this is great news. Finally, their produce is going global. It could be India's chance to capture a good chunk of the wheat market, especially in Africa and West Asia. Those countries need cheap, good quality wheat. India checks both boxes. The question is, can India sustain this? And here's why I ask. An intense heat wave is sweeping through India. That could reduce wheat production. India was expecting to produce 111 million tons of wheat by June. That forecast has been slashed. The new one is 105 million tons. So productivity is one issue. The other is price. Wheat prices have risen 15 to 20% in the last few weeks, and I don't have to tell you why that is bad. Wheat is the second most consumed food grain in India after rice. So if wheat is more expensive, all of us feel it. Having said that, there is no need to panic. India's wheat stock is at 19 million metric tons. The buffer norm is 7.4 million. So the stock is way above that. There is no immediate wheat crisis in India. But don't discount the risk here. India has more than 1 billion people to feed, yet it is exporting wheat to solve the global food crisis. Compare that to Europe. Italy regulates AC temperatures and they can't stop talking about it. Everybody praises their so-called sacrifices, but what does India get? Lectures and criticism. And this has been a consistent narrative. Just think back to the early stages of the pandemic. Do you remember the hydroxychloroquine craze? Then US President Donald Trump loved it. He even threatened India over it. Trump promised retaliation if India did not export HCQ. Same with vaccines. India was called the pharmacy of the world, but the second wave slowed down vaccine exports. When that happened, criticism followed. Let me show you this headline by CNN. The world's biggest vaccine maker is stalling on exports. That's a problem for the planet's most vulnerable. Well, we looked for CNN's article on India's wheat exports. There wasn't one. And this exposes the double standards of the West. They cheer America for sending weapons to Ukraine, for basically extending the war. But they're silent when states like India look for solutions. The fact is, countries need to rethink their approach to conflicts. They must be part of the solution, not the problem.